For decades, the digital world operated under a strict assumption. Borrowing from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, tech culture agreed that the universal answer was a number, 42. It represented a landscape ruled entirely by logic. This numeric obsession mirrored the engineering-first mindset of the early web. Brands operated on the assumption that raw specifications and logical proofs were the primary tools needed to convince an audience. They prioritized feature lists and technical accuracy, trusting that the most correct message would naturally win. Then the environment changed. The internet became saturated. As the lyrics to a certain track put it, every nudge a little louder. Attention spans fractured under the sheer volume of noise. In a world screaming with information, data became cheap. Being factually correct was no longer a rare advantage, and presenting audiences with pure logic stopped holding their interest. The calculated approach reliably solved the equation. It produced the right corporate answer, but it failed to build any sense of community or capture modern attention. Internet culture shifted when people stopped looking for the most efficient solution. As the campaign's anthem states, quote, "Sometimes the answer isn't math." The internet crowned a new ultimate answer, 69, and it comes with a mandatory universal response, nice. Nice operates as a currency. It signals shared humor, validates inside jokes, and instantly establishes that the speaker and the listener belong to the same community. When the team at Spike.land needed to launch, they recognized this pivot. They abandoned the traditional corporate playbook and built the X69 campaign as a direct response to this new environment. Modern attention requires a different approach. Winning today depends on treating vibes as an engineerable asset, moving beyond the hope that community will simply happen on its own. Instead of drugging a standard single-day press release that would be forgotten by noon, Spike.land engineered a serialized digital event. Step 1 required committing to the long haul. They designed an architecture capable of delivering 69 distinct rounds of content, building sustained momentum over time. They constructed a central campaign hub using Astro components, snapping discrete blocks like layout, nav, footer, and analytics together. Under the hood, they structured a JSON database, tracking specific parameters: round number, persona speaking, topic, and tags. The user experience is effortless, but the underlying architecture is rigid. Creating that sense of ease requires committing to high-intensity technical engineering. Step 2 involved eliminating the monolithic brand voice. They cast a wide spectrum of personas to speak on behalf of the campaign. On the logical math end of the spectrum, they utilized historical intellects like Albert Einstein to provide grounded, authoritative perspectives. On the opposite end, they leaned into modern internet culture, tapping into the anonymous, electronic aesthetic of Daft Punk. Step 3 took these distinct personalities and hard-coded their identities directly into the campaign's codebase. The developers built a persona accent directory, assigning exact hex color codes to each figure, like red for Daft Punk and blue for Erdos. This system wraps the user in a specific atmosphere, guaranteeing aesthetic consistency across all 69 rounds. By covering the entire spectrum from logic to shared humor, the campaign speaks to every faction of internet culture without feeling forced. The final implementation step adds a physical atmosphere to the campaign. Integrating a soundtrack turns the scrolling feed of text into an immersive event. They soundtracked the experience with a custom synth-pop anthem. The track creates what the lyrics call a rooftop paradise, an atmosphere comfortable enough that the audience actually wants to linger. 42 was a solid baseline for the early web, but an obsession with raw data and logical correctness isolates the user. The modern internet operates differently. Winning attention today does not require proving you have the smartest answer. It requires proving you share the same culture as the person on the other side of the screen. To cut through the noise, you have to treat your launch like an inside joke shared among friends. Stop calculating and start connecting.